Hey, Rue, how you doing? I don't know what she's done with my pen. Done. Good deal. Is it cold where you're at? Hey, Reese, I'm beginning to worry about you, love. Didn't know where you got off to. In Nebraska. Uh, you're doing great. Good deal. Um, I don't know if well, I ain't got the cards in here with me. She took them in the living room. But anyway, I got some new cards made up and want everybody to have some to put around places, like Walmart, gas stations, whatever. Uh, if you will hit me up on Messenger, Race, uh, give me a PO or mail address, wherever you get your mail, and I'll send you some out. I just sent another uh, 5 envelopes already again today. And as you run out, just let me know, and I'll keep you stocked up. I should have brought them in here, but she was filling out them envelopes for me. As long as you're doing all right, that's all that matters. Um, I had someone ask me yesterday, the spirits hang around us and why. And I thought I would address that today or this morning here. Well, about evening now, but we'll be probably back on tonight when she gets off. Um, that couldn't been said no better, love. Not one word of it could have been said better. Um, I went to the doctor the other day, and they we miss you too, honey. Um, they put me on that Ozempic. Kayla's been on it for a long time, and uh, she lost about 80 pounds in her first year. Um, so they prescribed me some shots, and I started them yesterday. So every every Thursday, I know to take one. Hey, Kathy. Um, Apparently it's working. Just off that one shot a little bit, because I ain't. I'm not a bit hungry. I've been a little thirsty, but I told Christina last night. I said I think I'm gonna go back to Gatorade. Because it's got a lot of electrolytes in it, and that's what I did when I was uh, fasting. You know, right after Mother passed. In 8 days, I lost 26 pounds. Some people said that's too quick. Some people said that's okay. After I told them that I was just strictly on, you know, some Gatorade, and a Gatorade would last me, a couple of days. Well, I pray it does. How do you connect with your ancestors? And how can you tell what's real or fiction? Um, for the foremost, it's what you believe and how you feel. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Um, I've not been in good health for a long time. Um, that congestive heart failure, no, it can build up fluid around the heart and whatnot. And the less weight you take in and less liquid you take in, you know, prolongs everything. So uh, I I took that shot last night, and I'm not I'm not even hungry. I don't. Thank you, love. Um, if you want to connect, Ozempic needles. Uh, I take a total of 2.5 grams every week, one shot a week. And I started it yesterday, so on Thursdays I know to go ahead. Um, well, anyway, to reach out to loved ones that would be an ancestor that maybe you got a photo album, and say it was, say, your grandma's mom or your mom's mom, or whatnot. Well, if it's gonna do me like this here, I don't know when I'll eat. Um, but when I was fasting, I did slip once. I ate me a cracker. I did cheat that day, but just one saltine cracker. Um, but yeah, if you've got a photo of an ancestor, like I said, your grandma's mom or so forth, this and that and other, you need to know their full name. What year they were born, and maybe what the cause of death was, and we can go from there. Some people uh, use the app, uh, uh, the family tree, um, and go about getting names from that way, going through ancestry. Uh, well, it's ancestry.com, but then it gives you like a family tree uh, photo looking thing, and on the limbs of it, it will have certain names uh, from your last name on up and up and up and up till it starts changing. Uh, love you too, honey. Um, and you kind of have to do like either what like Risa was talking about a minute ago. You have to take time, clear your mind, have some time for yourself. Stop putting other people first and listen to your own instincts. Now, with Reese, I've done sessions for Reese. I even done some private session with Reese, and we I found out things that she had to think and remember about. Um, so again, it may be something just that simple. Having a photo, you know, that may have a date on it or whatever. But we've got people in here in the chat, love, that will tell you how we do that. Now, Reese sat down and she put some papers out in front of her here, and she had questions and whatnot, and names of whatnot. And toward the tail end of it, I was telling her things that was going on in her home and by whom. And it's just uh I believe anybody can do it if they use their own energy. And that's what she's doing, right, or has been doing, is saving her own energy for herself to make herself feel better, health wise, mental, you name it. Um, it you don't hurt anybody to do that ever. Um, when you get as much info as possible, hit me up, set yourself up for a session, and I guarantee you, Alice and Kathy or Risa here that's on so far, they'll tell you just how well that goes. Uh, yep, I remember that. Sure do. So you kind of just open yourself up for it. Um, I always tell people after you give me the information, um, it'll be 2 days after, and that's when we'll do your sessions. Um, but a lot of people, if you just sit down in a quiet room, contain yourself, a lot of people forget to hear their own thoughts and what it means. That is because we run off just as well as the deceased energy. They run off energy and muscle memory. We couldn't be sitting here talking if we wasn't doing it just as well as they do. Yeah, and the more that you talk to them and get them in, the better off you are. Now, I've got 100,026 sessions under my belt so far, and I've yet to fail. And I'm pretty proud of that. But if you ever wanted to do anything like that, to talk to your ancestor or whoever, male or female, um, that'd be fine by me. Um, but we need a little info on them, and that's why you might need to use uh, um, that family tree or whatever it is. There's an app for it. It gives you generations of your family and where they come from and all that. Ancestry.com. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, there's people here that we've done so much that, I mean, I don't have to call them at one time. But now, when I sit down to do a session, I don't have no distractions. It's not like what I do here just on a live show. Um, I always tell the person I'm going to do the session for to think of me and think of that person all that day until I text you and say, hey, your video is going up, or if you do it privately, you'll be FaceTiming me anyway. So it's it'd be good for people to be able to learn about their ancestries and all that good stuff. I've done it. Um, it's it's pretty amazing some of the things that you get. Um, it takes focus. It takes a lot of energy for you out of you to do so. Just like Reese taking this time that she has taken, knowing even knowing that she's doing it for her own benefit, it takes more energy to do what she did than what it should, what normally everyday function she does. But at the tail end, you gain energy, you feel better, you open up about yourself. Yes. And it'll make you feel better about yourself, and it's like numbers. It never stops. There's no end to numbers. So that's about right on that. Um, yeah. Um, and I love doing that kind of stuff for people. Um, Reese has been here for a good while, and she understands, you know, what I'm saying, and I I don't beat around the bushes about it. I say what I have to say, and she's come to find out that that's perfectly correct. Um, if you still own a good bit now, uh, yeah, I'm not going to beat around the bush for nobody. Um, Probably one of our. I didn't get to do a Halloween special this year, um, but I will do a Christmas special, and that is to reach out to my mom and my grandmother and Christina's mom, and that will be my gift, one of the gifts for her. Um, and you'll see how we do it because it'll be a regular session, but we're going to do it right here on the live. And then you'll have more better idea of what's going on and how we get to that point. But yeah, I was asked yesterday, the spirits hang around us? And if so, why? Spirits tend to cling to the person that they're the closest with, who they felt more comfortable being around. And it don't have to be just a person either. It can be an item. It can be a picture. Um, they're they're running off muscle memory. So that is basically like the nervous system that controls our mind to think and feel and touch and whatnot. And as they get more and more energy, that's when you can get things like get them to turn your lights off or open a door or, move something around a little bit or something, you know. Um, and the reason they do it, there's a million ways and reasons why spirits linger. Some of them pass without realizing that they have passed. Sometimes it can be a sudden death. They don't realize it. They don't know what's going on. A lot of the elderly that's in, like my grandma was, she was in, had Alzheimer's. Well, for about 6 months or so, every time I'd go to the graveyard, wouldn't get nothing. I sat down there one day and I explained it. And I said, you need to think of the past, not the future. You done outlived your past. So think about it and the people in it. And probably a week later, I came back. She started talking. Yeah. Um, I, it's it's amazing, really, because I I, I myself I've seen a motorcycle wreck one time, and the guy was dodging to miss a car, and him and his bike hit a power line pole. Before I had time to blink, I could see that feller standing right there beside that power line pole, looking at himself laying there on the ground with his bike. And that was so touching that life goes that quick. And it does. It don't take but a few minutes to be here, and it don't take but a second to be out of here. But I know that if someone did not work with him, that he would just be residual energy. And that is someone that replays what they went through every year on the date and time. They can walk right through you, not ever be aware of time and space. Um, there's a lady that lived up in Detroit. Uh, train runs in front of her house, and back in '92 or '93, something like that, there was a train hit a car crossing, and by the time it got stopped, it was right there, pretty much right in front of her house. And she said every year on that exact time, she can hear the crash and hear the screams. And that ain't nothing but residual. They don't realize that they're doing it. They're stuck in a death state. You have to be able to connect with them people to get them to understand how to cross over. That's not going anywhere. That's just accepting your fate. When they do that, they realize that, okay, I ain't got to be like this. I ain't got to be drugged through the mud every day of my entirety of what we have left of this earth. Um, every time I've ever helped anyone or a family, like Miss Barkley's family down there at Cedar Hill, uh, it's nice that they come back and they thank you for it. A lot of them don't know what to expect. A lot of them don't want to leave this place yet because they don't realize that they passed, and they don't know what it is with what they're seeing. And that's why I always tell them, if you see a light, a bright light, go in it. And I had a fella one time tell me, no, he don't know where in the world that'd take him. I said, ain't gonna take you nowhere. I said, you're just accepting your fate. And he ended up, I think it was that COVID stuff he passed from. And anyway, a couple days later, I was down there at Gross Cemetery where he's at, and somebody bumped me, might near knock me down. And I said, "Who is this doing this?" He called his name off, and he said, "I was sick," and I remembered that voice. I said, "You had COVID?" He said, "Yep, not no more." And he saying, and he said himself, he said, "I've crossed over." He said, "Now I'm free." And I said, "Exactly. And that's the way it works." If if they made a pair of glasses that were more sensitive than a phone or a regular camera or whatnot, where you could actually see spirits in orb form or a mist or whatever. If you can picture in your mind the busiest streets in New York, that's the way they are all over the world. They A lot of them just feel lost. They don't know what to do about it. They they don't know where to go, what to do, and that's why you hear so many people say, "Help me, I need help." They just simply do not know what needs to be done, and once they're coached a little bit and kind of learn the ropes, well, not everybody gets to see a light, It's not for everybody. I mean, I wish it was, but that's just not the way it is. Um, but as far as why, it's because you either got some of theirs that they were attached to that they really loved, or it, it's because of you. They were closer to you than anybody else, or you're still in a familiar place in the same home. There's thousands of reasons why spirits will hang around with their loved ones. Um, I wish y'all could use my ears for a little while. It's like a never ending conversation with thousands and thousands of people talking at the same time. And yeah, sometimes it gives me migraines. It, it's just part of it. Um, when it comes to children, you know, I've been out in places, abandoned places, and this and that, and I've heard a child's voice, and people are like, "Oh, that's creepy. That's a kid." No, that's not creepy. That's sad. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just that they're so innocent and humble, but it's anything that other than scary. I I love talking with children, but you got to come down to their level. You got to ease in there. Some of them, that understand what's happened or whatnot, they want to voice their voice to stand out, um, tell what happened. Everybody's got a story. Um, but for me, that's the most sensitive that you can get when you're dealing with a child, knowing that they're not guilty of anything and that they were taken too soon, or if it was an illness or killed or whatever. It's death comes for all of us. Never welcome, but it still comes. Yeah. Hey, Savina. Uh, Christina's at work today. I believe we'll come back live again too tonight. She gets off at 9, so probably around 10 or 10:30 probably. Um, I believe the hardest thing as far as a child situation, they was oh, it was a house fire, and one of the youngest didn't get out. She wasn't but 4 or 5 year old, and where I was staying at the time, the next little round the other side of the driveway is where their house was, and I was in the bed and I had my back toward the living room part, And I heard a little girl say, "Who are you?" And I said, I'm JD. She said, "You can hear me?" I said, "Yeah, I hear you." I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "Play it." So I rolled over and I was watching there in the living room, and you could see some of them toys move. But she didn't present herself to me as she was burnt up. They can show themselves in very, very different ways. Huge, just big enough to shadow a whole wall, or a orb form, or a mist, or full body apparition, the way that little girl did. And I asked her, I said, "What happened?" And she said, "I burned." And I had done heard about the house fire. I said, "I'm sorry to hear that." She said, "Why?" "I don't hurt anymore." And that just tore my heart all to pieces. So all these children around that's getting abused and mistreated and murdered and whatnot. Once once it's over, as bad as that may sound, they're perfect in every way if they're young enough, because they don't know the difference between right and wrong. If the world ended today, they'd go straight to heaven because they just don't know no better. And another thing I want to call out too that's been pissing me off for years now. About every time that we try to do a child, reach out to a child, some fit, form, fashion, somehow, they claim that the child is either autistic or got a disability or something such that. And I am so fed up with that right there. Um, and, you know, that's like a lion trying to take down a baby kangaroo, you know what I'm saying? Don't have a fighting chance. But once it's over, they're perfect. The only thing that's different is there's no more pain. Ain't got to worry with nothing. But they can still sit back and watch how cruel people are still here on Earth. And that, you know, people always talk about, well, set an example. What's it going to do if you set an example for somebody and then, say, within a day or two, somebody comes in right behind your authority and tells them something different? They're not going to know who to believe or what to do. That's the reason teens and children, they'll test your buttons to see how far they can go. Nowadays, it's got where kids turn against their parents and parents turn against their kids. It's just not. It's just a screwed up, dadgum world, boy. And when people say the children are the ones that have to take, the force of all this. Um, of course it is. They're the ones that at the tail end, no matter if it's a divorce or whatever, they're the ones that get hurt the most. If I could, I would try to help every person in the world, but I can't. I can do one at a time, and that's it. I hate it. I used to do doubles. And what I mean by that is, used to I'd let people have me to call out to couple people in their family. When I do that, sometimes it feels like it's me apart physically. It feels like I'm just getting ripped. And I had to stop it. That's why I tell people that want a session or whatnot that full name, birth date, death date, cause of death if you know it, last place lived, some of their likes, and 5 questions. I give them that. Um, I always try to tell people to make sure at least 5 years and above. Uh, yeah. Um, I have had to. Well, I didn't have to. I just wanted to. I really wanted to. It was a little 3-year-old boy, and what happened to him was beyond belief. And as I was doing the session, the blood curdling screams and cries from that child still haunts me to this day. I wouldn't wish that on nobody. That's why I try to say, look, 5 years and above. Because a lot of you are pretty strong, but a lot of you got a good, innocent heart too when it comes for children. And it would do nothing but every time you close your eyes or try to lay down, and that's all you'd hear and think about. It is something that you don't ever get over. That gummit now is trying to spin on me. There it go. Um, but yeah, that's the reason why spirits linger. They are called earthbound spirits. Um, Now, spirits can be put in limbo if they cause too much daggum trouble. Limbo is a space between heaven and hell. They can't get out, they can't do nothing but suffer until the Lord comes back. That's one place everybody wants to avoid because they are worse things than dying, trust me. Um, so it's pretty straight, common answers. I mean, for what I was asked, why the spirits linger around with us, and when and how and all this stuff. You know, like birthdays and things like that. They remember these things. Holidays. They remember this stuff. And, a spirit can hear every thought you think before we even ask the question. They they come here, they know that they're open to have a voice, and yeah, sometimes I have to push something back to get out of the way. I did a 17-year-old girl, I think it was last night, up up in Alaska. Her and her, I guess, new feller got into it with somebody, and anyway, they somebody pushed their car off. Uh, and I said, "Did you know that ice would not be stout enough to hold that weight?" And she said, "Yeah." So if you give them time, be patient with them, they'll tell their own story. The best thing that can happen from here till the end of time, my my advice. Now that's mine. Everybody got their own opinion or whatnot. They ain't nary daggum one of us perfect. We can sin more with our mind and our mouths anytime. But I'd say live it day by day the best that you can, and ask the Lord to forgive you every day. And just be the best person you could be. I've seen people that's had a bad personality and done some bad things when they were young. And I've seen them turn it around and start acting right. And then they done all right. You just don't want to wait till it's too late. Bible says it's better to not know me than know me and then not know me. That's true. I've done bad things when I was young. A lot. I ain't proud of them either. I guess if you want to hear from an ancestor, do you some digging around and get them few things that I need. Full name, death date, birth date, cause of death if you know it, last place lived, some of their likes, and 5 questions. And it'll blow your mind. Sure will. That's about the best I know how to describe them questions for me. So And a lot of spirits, they'll test you to see if you can hear them. That's why a lot of time you might hear a peck, on something, or you might hear, how your home sounds. Everybody does. Everybody gets to know the sounds of their home. If you hear something that stands out, a lot of time that's their way of saying, "Hey, I'm here, dadgummit." You know, to keep a person alive is by thinking about them and talking about them, and all in a good light. Because their spirits, our spirits, no spirit on this earth will ever die. I know I pray to good Lord every night that, you know, He wants me to come on. I believe I got a good place to go. I asked Him to bless everybody and everything and everybody. Because there ain't nothing that can't be done through Christ. So it's just like Reese said a while ago, she enjoys learning and trying to, understand what's going on when things like that occur. Um, and again, my fan base is 98% female. So anybody asks me, I'm going to tell them I know for a fact that women are a lot smarter than men because they got the backbone and the willpower to learn all this. And some men will be clueless, and after a period of time, if something happens, then they can know what to expect and what to do uh, as you lose a loved one. It really helps. It really does. Guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. And like I said, if she ain't too wore out or whatnot tonight, we'll go live. Well, she gets off at 9, so probably be around 10:30, something like that. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. I sent out some more cards. Let's see, Sabina, I need you to send me uh, your address again. Reese, you send me your uh, um, address. Uh, Anybody that has not, uh, then send it to me on Messenger. And make sure that you hit up the right messenger because the old messenger uh, has like 900 something friends on it or something. But the new one that I had to create here a while back, it says in relationship with that same picture. So y'all hit me up that way I can start getting you guys some cards out too. And I'll show them tonight when I come back in here. I'll bring that box in here and show you guys what they look like. Um, I love y'all.